A tale of mystery, suspicion, and the dangers of AOL Instant Messenger. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Shane. This is the Horror Basement, and today we're talking about Cry_Wolf, or simply Cry Wolf, from 2005. This is a pseudo-slasher, pseudo-mystery film that takes place on the campus of a live-in private high school. This movie follows our main character, Owen, who is a young British boy of high school age that is moving to this school in America because he got in trouble back at his old school. And his dad is very rich and managed to get him in here. But the other thing you have to remember about Owen's dad is that Owen's dad does not love Owen. He will not return his calls. He is very busy doing business things, and he does not have time for that shit. So of course, the first person that Owen meets is Dodger, who is a cute redheaded girl who is very feisty and kind of sending out some vibes towards Owen. And before all of this takes place, at the very beginning of the movie, a girl is killed in the woods by a guy with a gun. So just keep that in mind. So Owen and Dodger appear to be the only people on campus because everyone else is at a school assembly getting briefed on the murder that happened in the town. So Dodger ends up inviting Owen and Owen's roommate Tom, who is friends with Dodger, to play a game in the church chapel, or the campus chapel, which is apparently abandoned, where one of the people gets a X or a T painted on their chest in lipstick, and they are the wolf, and everyone has to go around guessing and voting on who's the wolf. And if you accuse someone and it's put to a vote, and whoever gets voted out, either the accuser or the accusee, and whoever is left, presuming the wolf makes it to the end without getting caught, they get the money. So they do this, and in this scene we're acclimated to all of the other characters, of which there are a menagerie, which are not terribly important to the movie overall. But Owen is the wolf and ends up making it to the end, and him and Dodger are still flirting with each other. But all of the characters then decide to play the game on a larger scale by creating a fake, chain email, how the killing that recently happened was the work of a serial killer called the Wolf, of course, who kills people with a hunting knife and wears a camo jacket and a nice orange ski mask. And Owen ends up sending this email out, which gets him a stern talking to from the main teacher character of the movie, Mr. Walker, who teaches journalism, and who is played by famous 80s rock star John Bon Jovi of the band Bon Jovi. And of course, since this is a horror movie, the wolf turns out to be quote-unquote real, because someone starts harassing Owen over AOL Instant Messenger, saying that they saw the email and they're going to kill him and everyone who's close to him and all that. And the movie continues as Owen and his friends continue to be harassed and start suspecting each other of taking the prank one step too far, to where eventually it all comes to a head on Halloween night as Owen seemingly watches all of his friends get killed one by one as he tries to find and get to Dodger so they can escape. Oh, and prior to this, throughout the course of the movie, Owen and Dodger are like flirting and kind of kissing, starting to get together, the whole thing. But that stops when Owen sees Dodger and Mr. Walker making out in his office. So anyway, we're back to Halloween night. Owen's running around. He's seeing his friends get killed, and he figures out that Mr. Walker has to be the wolf because all of the evidence points to him, and he finds a gun in Mr. Walker's desk, which turns out to be the gun that killed the blonde girl in the beginning of the movie. And there's a brief struggle, and Owen ends up shooting Mr. Walker in the chest and killing him. And it's only after this occurs that all of Owen's friends pop out, and it turns out that it was all a prank. None of them are actually dead, and they do like a kind of flashback to show how all of the dead bodies and all of the bullshit was pulled off through a Rube Goldberg machine of highly motivated and highly organized high school pranksters. But as it turns out, the gun that Owen used to shoot Mr. Walker, John Bon Jovi, was actually the gun that was used to kill the blonde girl who was a former student of Mr. Walker's, who he was having an affair with. So seeing as essentially Owen caught a murderer and killed him by taking out Professor John Bon Jovi, he is allowed to leave, and he's not prosecuted for the killing of Mr. Walker, because for some reason in this movie's universe, if the person you kill is a murderer, the murderers like X each other out, and you're scot-free to go. But Owen, at the very last scene of the movie, he confronts Dodger in the main lobby of the police station, and explains to her that he understands what really happened, and that Dodger set this whole thing up, put this plan into motion, because she found out that Mr. Walker, who was also having an illegal student-teacher affair with her, was also messing around with this blonde girl. So she's the one that really killed the blonde girl in the beginning, and set up this elaborate ruse to get Owen to kill Mr. Walker so that she could have revenge on him for cheating on her. And basically Dodger is like, yeah, well, how are you going to prove that? No one's going to believe you. And just walks away. And that's how the movie ends. Yeah, so overall, I would not recommend this movie. Going into it, I was thinking that this was going to be one of those movies that are like good bad, where it'd be entertaining, but the movie ended up just being bad. The plot's basically nonsensical and requests of you to take one too many kind of leaps of logic to make the ending or the twist ending work. And other than that, other than just like the nonsensical plot, which you'll have that in some horror movies, all the characters they attempt to write them as being like super like witty and self-aware, but they all just come off as like unlikable assholes. And also the movie is edited in such a like scatterbrained and slapdash way to where it's really distracting from the overall viewing experience. And a lot of the movies in the early 2000s, like a lot of Rob Zombie's early work, as well as this movie, like the editing is so weird and unconventional that it distracts from the movie itself. Yes, overall, I had high hopes going into this movie, but I would skip it if I were you. So that's going to be it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.